The only thing I like about Chimaev is he sells fights. For some reason, people fucking like him or don't like him.
Listen, he's a kid that we're definitely interested in, and he's interested too.
That's my fault. I feel like, that's a 5-round fight.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Inside the Cage, where we bring you the latest and exciting updates of UFC. First, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. The beef heats up over middleweight gold. You know, Strickland doesn't hold back when it comes to sharing his thoughts on the UFC middleweight division's new #1 contender. On the other hand, Khamzat Chimaev, who just made his debut at 185 pounds in UFC 294, managed to defeat the former welterweight champ Kamaru Usman in the co-main event last Saturday at Etihad Arena in Abu Dhabi. Now, this situation is getting interesting because, technically, he hasn't beaten anyone in the middleweight rankings. But based on Dana White's pre-fight promise, he's seemingly secured himself a title shot. During an interview on the UFC Fight Pass show Extra Rounds, Strickland didn't shy away from questioning Chimaev's qualifications as a #1 contender in his new weight class. However, it's worth noting that Strickland isn't necessarily looking to stand in the way of Chimaev's opportunity, despite his reservations.
The only thing I like about Chimaev is he sells fights. For some reason, people fucking like him or don't like him. I don't know. To me, he's a fucking paycheck. He sells a lot of fights, people paying to watch, but he hasn't earned it, doesn't fucking deserve it. But here we are. Give it to him. He sells a lot of fights. I'll go fucking fight the man for 5 rounds. But no, he has not earned it. He doesn't fucking deserve it. And getting a decision with a welterweight off the couch is not fucking earning it.
However, it is unbelievable that Strickland pulled off a massive upset and claimed the middleweight throne by defeating Israel Adesanya at UFC 293 back in September. The interesting part is that before Strickland got his shot at the last style bender, it was supposed to be Dricus du Plessis in line for a title shot. But du Plessis, the South African contender, had some health issues and couldn't face Adesanya at UFC 293, even after his victory over Robert Whittaker in July. And here's the plot twist. Chimaev, after UFC 294, hinted that he might have broken his hand in the opening round against Usman. That is the reason we're still determining how serious that injury is, and it's also up in the air whether it could affect a potential matchup between Strickland and Chimaev. So there's some uncertainty in the mix. Dana White reveals the inside scoop on Michael Page. Dana White, the big boss at the UFC, dropped some interesting news. Recently, he's talking about possibly bringing Michael Page into the UFC fold. Page's last fight was in March. And guess what? That was the last fight on his Bellator contract, and he's officially a free agent. But my friend, that's not all. Page and White seem to be hitting it off, and he even showed up at UFC 294 in Abu Dhabi. So naturally, the rumor mill is buzzing with speculation that MVP might just be making his way to the UFC. During the post-fight press conference at UFC 294, someone asked Dana White about the whole situation, and he confirmed that there's some genuine interest on both sides. Yep. Things are getting pretty exciting in the world of mixed martial arts.
Listen, he's a kid that we're definitely interested in, and he's interested too, so possibly.
And speaking of Michael Page, there was an interesting interview he did earlier this year on Israel Adesanya's official YouTube channel. In that chat, MVP talked about the possibility of joining the UFC. He seemed pretty upbeat and optimistic about how he'd do in the UFC, even mentioning that he'd follow in the footsteps of Michael Chandler. That's adding more fuel to the speculation fire.
Can I see myself there? Yes. Are there the fights that can be made there that I think are exceptional? Yes.
So, it seems like something is ready for him to make a splash in the UFC if the opportunity arises. Guys, if you're enjoying the video, we'd love your support. Just hit that subscribe button to motivate us to bring you more exciting content. Usman's self-blame and the 10-8 round mystery. Well, Kamaru Usman may have left Abu Dhabi with another loss, but he's regained some serious belief in his ability to compete at the highest levels of the sport. During their fight, after a rough first round, Usman made a strong comeback and almost forced a draw against Boers. In the end, though, the judges gave the win to Chimaev via a majority decision. During a media scrum right after the fight, Usman was pretty hard on himself for starting slow and letting Chimaev control things to the point where all three judges scored a 10-8 round against him.
That's my fault. I feel like that's a 5-round fight. That's a 5-round fight. I shouldn't have been a 3-round fight, but it is what it is. You can't cry about spilled milk, as they say. So, we go back, we reassess, and we come back. 5-round, I think I stop him.
Usman was surprisingly candid about his feelings, and he admitted that he was in a bit of a strange headspace after losing his welterweight title to Leon Edwards twice. It's a tough situation to be in, for sure. But here's where it gets interesting. The big question is, which champion is he referring to, welterweight or middleweight? Right now, he's looking to turn his strong performance against Chimaev into a fresh start in the middleweight division. So, he's setting his sights on the middleweight title for the time being. Chandler's 12-month game plan for total dominance. Here, Conor McGregor, who's been out of the octagon for a bit, is getting back into the game and is set to face off against Michael Chandler. Interestingly, Chandler seems to have sorted out some issues with McGregor, and he's super eager to challenge Islam Makachev, the reigning lightweight champ. Lately, Chandler spilled the beans on his 12-month game plan for the future. Moreover, he's looking to KO both McGregor and Makachev, and he is confident that he can pull it off. Whereas Chandler emphasized his preparedness and determination, signaling his readiness to face McGregor, and Makachev shortly, on X, he said, 12-month plan, KO Conor and KO Islam. I've calibrated to right where I need to be. Settle it in. See you soon, boys. During UFC 294, Makachev achieved a remarkable first-round knockout against Alexander Volkanovski, successfully defending his 155-pound title. So Makachev has been on fire, bagging 2 wins in a row against the current featherweight champ. Now he's on the edge for a fresh challenger. Undoubtedly, things are heating up in the octagon, don't you think? Dana White's unfiltered reactions, Makachev's win, and more. Man, the event in Abu Dhabi was something else. Islam Makachev, the lightweight champ, defended his title in style with a knockout victory over Alexander Volkanovski, the featherweight champ. It was epic. After the event, Dana White chatted with the media on Makachev and a bunch of other stuff. The media grilled him about what he thought of Makachev's big win, whether he figured out Makachev could finally step out of Khabib Nurmagomedov's shadow, and of course, what's next for the reigning 155-pound champion.
He went in there and viciously, impressively finished this fight with a Crow Cop-esque kick to the head. It doesn't get any better than that.
According to White, it looks like Makachev's next battle is going to be against Charles Oliveira, while he thinks that a showdown between Makachev and Justin Gaethje or Dustin Poirier could also be epic. These fights are dramatically written all over them. Now, if Makachev manages to go through the query with Oliveira, Gaethje, Poirier, and maybe some others, White visualizes a clear path to stardom for the current lightweight champ.
You just got to keep grinding and knocking them down one by one, and it eventually happens. The truth is, when you look at Khabib, and nothing against Khabib, Khabib came in and won the title and defended, but this kid could go on a defense run that absolutely blows everybody away that ever held the belt in that division.
Next, the octagon awaits the epic battles yet to come, and fans are in for a thrilling ride as the story of Islam Makachev's reign as lightweight champion unfolds. All right, guys, that's all for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. See you at the next one. Until then, goodbye.